Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are having a good Saturday. It's December 26th. And yeah, so today I am here with a winter storm forecast because we have another potential major winter storm. This time it's going to be affecting areas of the Midwest and the Great Lakes and maybe the South. So we're going to be talking about that in today's video. Um, and so I hope you guys all had a good Christmas. And yeah, so probably starting early January, I'm going to be trying to get back to doing videos every day again, or most days out of the week, probably like 5 or 6. So we're gonna try and get back to that soon. But I guess let's get started. So, um, yeah, so we can see this weekend around Sunday night into Monday, we're gonna be having a very weak winter, not really a winter storm, just bringing some light snow areas of the Great Lakes and maybe Wisconsin and areas of the Midwest, some very light snow showers. This is going to be a very, very weak storm system. Nothing significant with this. So yeah, no significant snowfall totals with that. But as we go, this is Monday the 28th. We have some mountain snow in the west and nothing extremely significant, though. We do have a potential rainmaker for Southern California, though, and areas of the coastal areas of California also. And you can see by Tuesday morning, this starts to move out into the plains and into the high plains, and still a pretty weak storm system at around 1,007 millibars. But you can see it's already starting to make some snow or put some snow in areas like Nebraska, southwestern South Dakota, so areas like Rapid City, and all the way down in areas like Wyoming, and the heaviest snow mainly in Colorado. Now, it's still a fairly weak storm system, not very heavy snow anywhere, just some light to moderate snow early Tuesday morning. Then as we go into around when you would wake up Tuesday morning, around 7 to 8 a.m., we can see we have even patches of moderate to heavy snow now as the storm system enters the high plains, and it's starting to bring a lot of precipitation into the actual plains. And you can see we have a lot of moisture coming up from the Gulf of southerly winds, and even maybe an area which could see some freezing rain. We'll have to see about that, though. Could be by Topeka and Kansas City also. So we're going to have to see about that. And this will likely be a pretty major winter storm for some areas. And yeah, we can see Tuesday morning there's some good snowfall coming in the areas like southern South Dakota, northeastern Nebraska. I believe it's starting to leave areas like Colorado, Wyoming, and New Mexico. Then we go until around Tuesday afternoon. This is when the storm system really starts to get going. It's still a pretty weak storm system, but we do have a lot of moisture with this. Not a lot, but a pretty good amount. And so we do have a decent amount of heavy snowfall in areas like South Dakota, northern Nebraska, and southwestern Minnesota, even in Iowa now. Now, about this, we could have an ice potential with this for areas of Iowa, Nebraska, and northern Missouri. Now, where this ice potential actually happens, we're gonna have to see, though, because that will likely change as we get closer to when this actually happens, because this will happen pretty much early next week and the mid next week. So yeah, we still have about around 4 days until this actually happens. So we still got a little ways to go. And then by Tuesday evening, this is when the storm system really starts to get organized. We have a nice cold front of rain going all the way down into Texas, and a strong, or not as strong, but a moderate. I'm really not that strong for northern Kansas. 1,000 millibar low in northern Kansas, right on the Kansas and Nebraska line, and we do have a very large snow shield, or a very large area of snow to the north of this, though, especially for areas like northern Iowa, western Wisconsin, southern, even pretty much a lot of Minnesota could see snow from this. And North Dakota and South Dakota, it's starting to move out for y'all around Tuesday evening. And then we go into early Wednesday morning. The storm system does track northeast, so it looks like areas like Illinois and Chicago may not get anything from this first part, but we could see that change. Or we will have a second little wave. We're going to talk about that in a second. So you can see this is Wednesday early morning. We have heavy snow for areas of Wisconsin and southeastern Minnesota, and we still have the little bit of freezing rain and sleet right there. And then this is Wednesday morning. We can see the storm system is still fairly weak at around 1,001 millibars, but it is pretty organized in my opinion. And we can see we have heavy rain going all the way down to North Texas, And so we're gonna have to see about the severe weather potential with that though, which that'll be we'll probably talk about that more Sunday or Monday. But then we see our snow is starting to get our snow area is starting to get smaller, and the snow is not as heavy anymore. We can see we still do have some heavy snow areas in northern Wisconsin, UP, and Michigan into northern Michigan. And as we go into a Wednesday early afternoon, we have another storm system hit the northwest. And we can see we do have that. Most of that snow moves into Canada with just a little bit of snow showers and light snow on the backside of it by Wednesday afternoon. Now, this could be the second part of it. As you guys can see, we have a low forming Wednesday evening down in southeastern Texas into Louisiana. Now, this could help bring snow to more southern places. And as we can see, this is Thursday morning here. Our low is formed right in really southern Louisiana and in the Gulf. And it's sort of formed on the southern side of this cold front or stationary front at this, but by now it could be stationary. We can see we have some light snow mixing in and some freezing rain mixing in that area. And then we go, this is Thursday afternoon now. We can see that this is pretty much the same areas. We're still experiencing some freezing rain, the light snow, and our low is now right on top of New Orleans at 1,001 millibars. Now, for the southeast, this is going to be a pretty strong low pressure system. You can see in northern Alabama, it's 997, bringing some pretty strong winds to the south. And you can see we do have snow in northern Louisiana, Arkansas, freezing rain for areas like Memphis. And you can see we have a pretty small area getting this freezing rain and snow, especially in Indiana and Ohio. But so that could change. But then as we go into early Friday morning, this is when it really starts to get going. It's 995 millibars in southern Kentucky, which is pretty strong. And we can see we got a lot of heavy rain, and we have freezing rain pretty much right along the warm front. And then we have a good bit of snow for areas in northwestern Ohio, Indiana, southeastern Michigan, all the way over to Memphis. On the backside, you could get some snow. And then this moves to the northeast, doesn't really bring snow to the northeast other than northern Maine, and maybe on the backside of some other areas of the interior northeast. So this is not going to be as strong as the cold front with this is not going to be as strong as our Christmas Day, Christmas Eve storm system for the east, but it will bring some slightly cooler air for most areas. And in some areas it could actually bring a lot cooler air, and that will likely be in the north, not really like the east coast or the south. Now let's pull up that. Okay, so now we're going to look at the European model. Now we're not going to go over this completely because it is a little bit similar to the GFS, but it is still pretty uncertain. Though the European has the low for the first wave of snow a lot further to the south in the areas like Oklahoma, almost southern Kansas. So it even has areas like Kansas getting some snow. And it doesn't have the low as strong, only around 1,004. And timing is pretty similar, although it does seem to have it move slower than the GFS. I mean, we can see our second low start to form in western Louisiana. That moves northeast. Then on the backside, very heavy rain and some wind for the south, and still a pretty strong low for the south. And then we see snow on the backside of that. And you see the European, though, has some decent snowfall for areas like Chicago and Indiana, and then actually a pretty heavy snow in Michigan right there before it moves out. And so, yeah, that's the European. Now we're going to talk about snowfall totals. So these snowfall totals these are where the heaviest snowfall actually happens. That's going to change. But we're just going to be looking at snowfall totals to see where the axis of heaviest snow is as of right now and see how the European and the GFS agree. So you can see the European has a foot of snow for areas of Iowa and southwestern Wisconsin. And it has pretty heavy snow for areas like Chicago with around 5 to 7 inches in Chicago. And so fairly heavy snow, even Memphis getting almost 2 inches. And so we can see our second wave of snow is this. And then our first wave is all of this. And some of this snow right here is from our first little weak storm system that's going to be happening kind of Sunday night into Monday for areas of the north and the Great Lakes. And so, yeah, so that's the European. Let's go back to our 162. But the GFS, though, we can see it has the snow, heaviest snow a little bit further than north, of course. It has a foot of snow for areas of Minnesota and Wisconsin. And we can see it has the second wave of snowfall a little bit further away from the first wave. As we can see, the European actually has them kind of connected in areas like Michigan and Illinois. And the GFS, though, has like a snowless pocket with areas in northern Missouri and central Illinois getting nothing. Into the European does not have it. Those everywhere getting a slight, but everywhere getting at least a trace of snow in that area. And GFS, though, also has some snow further south in the European. And it has more. It has areas like Memphis getting 5 inches. And I think that's too much. I don't think Memphis is going to get 5 inches from this. But we could be seeing some cities in the south get some good snowfall from this. Could be Little Rock. And Memphis actually has a decent chance of getting snow from this. And so, yeah, we're going to be having another update on this tomorrow. And so, yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. But yes.